Hello, welcome to Soulprint Insights. Once again, I'm here with Paul, otherwise known as the White Dragon. And once again, we're going to tackle some crystals. Now, before I forget, because I kind of have a brain like a sieve, Paul and I were just talking, and we think that this would actually be a good time for you to send your crystal questions in the comment section, and that will give us some idea of what direction we're heading in here, and what you guys are interested in seeing and hearing. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am excited actually because Paul today is going to be talking about some stuff that honestly I don't know very much about. And so I'm really excited to sort of hear what Paul has to say, frankly. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to just honestly, I'm just going to hand this over to Paul. And I think I'm really going to be more like the inquisitive student than anything else here. So, Paul, take it away.
Okay. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, I'm an electrical engineer. I haven't been one for a little while now, but I can get into the technical stuff, but that's not my point. My point is to make it simple enough for other people to kind of understand what I'm talking about. So when we decided to name this crystals and steroids and how to pull energy into your world. And when I say pull energy, it literally means getting the raw energy that's out there in creation and picking it up and then using it for your own purpose. So you're repurposing the energy, putting your imprint on it. Okay, that's what I basically mean about that. All my experimentation that I've done with crystals and all this energy, because I feel it myself, and I started to wonder, what kind of energy is this? It has to be raw energy, okay? And raw energy means it's out there and it's for you to use, period. So one of the types of raw energy that's available, and I'll briefly touch up on this, it's called 0-point energy. And 0-point energy means it's just I'm going to say the words and then I'll explain. It's the random fluctuations in a vacuum, which means that they take two plates of metal, put them in a vacuum, and they get them so close, not touching, but very, very close. And they can pick up fluctuations in a vacuum, and they can turn that into electricity. It's free energy. Years ago, I saw where somebody came up with a cell phone that used that technology. It's disappeared from the market. No batteries, 0 batteries, and the phone always worked and had a charge. So that's basically what that means. It's using that type of energy. I mean, there's devices that they have that can use this kind of energy. As it pertains to crystals, crystals can store that kind of energy. And as near as I can figure, it stores it in between the spaces of the atom. And a good example of that is this thing called moldavite. And let me pick my little chunk of moldavite if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Moldavite. It's not really a crystal. It's a piece of glass. And what happened was about 15 million years ago, asteroid hit the Earth with such an impact that, and it hit where Germany is right now in that general area, and they can still find the crater. It's a city built in the middle, and the thing just came down and with such energy, it just blew up into outer space. It melted everything. It came right back down, but when it came right back down, it kind of flew in and it reached a tear shape. It kind of like an airfoil. And this is where they basically how you can tell moldavite from fake ones. And then it landed in the area where the Czech Republic is right now, and all that energy got stored into these things. It's called the moldavite effect. In the moldavite, I've seen this in people where you can hold on to this, and the energy goes. If not everybody can feel this. and the energy goes up until it feels like heat crawling up their arms. And I seen somebody go, ah, drop it on the floor. It's like, what happened? It says, it was trying to get there, crawl me. I mean, I feel it, but I don't feel it this hard. And then when you get used to this energy, you won't even feel it. It's still there. 50 million years ago in this piece of glass, there's nothing you can do to change it. It's still there. So that's just basically what that energy is. And then we have, crystals and sound. It's very, you can marry the two together and get a different effect. Quartz itself, when you compress it, it generates electricity. That's one of the properties of quartz itself. So crystals and sound affect crystals, and crystals affect sound. So the two things go together. So do you have any questions on this little section here?
So the way I relate to that, so there's a whole idea of, the crystals. I tend to think about it in terms of working it with combinations of specific crystals that sort of are harmonious to each other. Is that sort of where we're going with this? Is to be able to identify or figure out what crystals you want to put into a grouping so that you have a clear understanding of what they can accomplish, so you can figure out what you're trying to accomplish? Have I dumbed that down enough?
Yeah, that's exactly true. Let's say this is a Lemurian seed crystals. It's put into a setting where you can put it around your neck. That's just a single crystal. Now, single crystal by itself, it has an energy, and it draws in the energy itself, and you can program and so forth. But when you combine it with other things, as in here, you see those two little things in the front with the silver wire. Those are Herkimer diamonds.
Got it.
Myself with the, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see it better that way. So the combination of the two, proximity-wise, they complement each other. I have found out that certain combinations really increase the frequency and the energy output of these grouping that you were saying. And one of them is Moldavite, Herkimer diamonds, and quartz. You can throw in a little piece of copper, but that's not necessary.
I was just going to say, though, but in fact, minerals also will have an impact on the crystal that it's set in or surrounded by. And so you really can use the mineral energy to complement or amplify the energy of the crystal or the stone. So that's always handy to know, right? Because to make that work for you.
Right. And then the thing to realize is that, this is energy that we can repurpose ourselves. And we're using the crystals as a kind of like an antenna, a receiver for this energy. And we can use it when we approach it properly. And that's how you can boost the energy of a crystal by intent. You're always talking about intent. How do you set the intent of your crystal so that your crystal work for you instead of not working for you?
Yeah.
And a crystal by itself might work with you without setting the intent, but once you set the intent, you're really in control. You're saying, I'm going to do this, and you're going to go
support
with
that.
what to do.
Yeah.
So intent's very important. I did some experimentation also with geometry. And a friend of mine calls me up one day and says, she's a shaman and she does energy work. And she goes, I want you to, she's Jamaican, so she talks kind of weird with an accent. And she goes, I want you to go and make me it's a three-dimensional triangle, a three-sided pyramid, built two, and you put them together like this.
Yep.
It's got a name. What's the name of it? Gosh, I forgot. Anyways, she goes, I want to do this, but I want one to have somebody stand in the center. So I said, okay, I've never done this. So I calculated all the dimensions and everything else. And I went to her husband, who's a carpenter. I said, she wants to make this. Okay, so we went down to Home Depot, which is the home store, and we bought
Yep.
PVC pipe, and we bought PVC pipe of the same length, and we put it together with screws and pieces of metal, and then we built it in his shop. And he goes, "What the heck you gonna do with this?" I goes, "She wants it done." So, and she was having a function at a beach with people, where it was very nice. And the beach, and when the sun was going down, we did meditations, we did sound stuff, and everything like that. And then we didn't build a base for it, so we had to hold it, and people would step in the middle of it. And when I'm saying an antenna, because geometry pulls in energy. So, and the people that said, "Oh, this is nice," and I looked at it and I go, "What the?" At the points where the three pieces were coming out, I saw flames shooting out about this long. Blue, electric blue flames shooting all over the place. And I go, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I hope the person doesn't fracture the center. So I learned that, geometry is like an antenna. When you mix it in, it doesn't matter really what the material is. You can make it out of wood and it would have the same effect. We have PVC pipe, which is plastic. If you do it out of metal or even crystals, and some people sell like pyramid shapes that you can made out of metal, and some of them even go as far as making it out of crystal shapes. That you can get the same thing. That's antenna. And then we have the what I call wands, and wands is just a combination, like we were talking about different combinations of crystals. And I make these. Cyndy has one. I don't know if yours is available. This is a little one, and it has.
Oh no, you've frozen them out.
Yeah, it has a quartz in the middle, and I think these are the same kind of stone that I gave you.
An aquamarine.
Yeah, aquamarines. That
It's beautiful.
it's not that big. The combinations of this, when held in the hand, in the left hand like this, and you meditate, it acts like an antenna, and it picks up that extra energy, and it goes. You can actually feel the energy go down your arm, and it feels like little crawly ants, and sometimes it feels like heat. It doesn't hurt. And I don't know if you felt that, but the one of the channelings you did, you were like this holding something, and I go, "Oh,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
probably holding her one," and
I
super high
exactly.
energy being came through that you don't
Yeah,
know
I
what.
so I used that one that Paul is referring to in one of my deep trance channelings, and it wasn't sort of really noticeable, but Paul did notice it because he recognized sort of the hand
You were
position.
holding it like this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, "Oh my God, there's something really powerful coming through here." You must have
And
connected
it
with some
and
powerful
what
being.
it did, how it worked for me was it just sort of took me to a slightly higher level, and so the information um, just resonated at a higher level. It was coming from a higher vibration. And so it was very effective. I want to move on because the whole idea of the sort of combination of stones, part of the reason that we're kind of going through this is because one of the things that Paul does that I don't do is he builds grids. So grids can be used for all kinds of purposes. I mean, some people use grids for, health or a specific intention of some kind. Maybe they're using it to bring abundance into their life or some sort of a blessing. And frankly, you can tell that Paul has a background in engineering because his brain works that way. Okay, my brain kind of works like overcooked spaghetti in a strainer. So we so,
That's funny.
so this is sort of why I'm kind of leaving this to Paul, but I was really curious for him to show us like a really simplified grid so that even if we don't want to use the grid, we can have a better understanding of the combinations of stones that are put together when creating a grid. So that's kind of what this whole long 14-minute preamble has been about, is we're moving towards the grid. And then the other thing that we're going to incorporate into that sort of after is we're going to have a little chat about calming stones, because these days it really does feel like everybody should be carrying one or two things in their pocket to just help find a place of calm, because we all really, really need that. So Paul, show me the grids, because I'm really excited about the whole grid thing.
Okay, this is gonna be Cindy's grid. I'm gonna wait till the mail stabilizes before I send it to her. I don't want it to be lost. So, anyways,
Oh, thank you.
this is a kind of a small one, and let me go ahead and come on down, as you say. Okay, so there you go. All right, so basically, this is based on the combinations of stones and geometry. Okay, there's 6 main pieces. And let me see if I can get, yeah, 6 main pieces. And I'm going to arrange them in what I call the Star of Solomon pattern. Okay, you can see it right there, right? And it's basically like kind of like you take a Jewish star on the edges, flat, and it's like the thing that I built with PVC pipe, and you squish it into 2 dimensions. That was 3 dimensions, this is 2. So now the combination of crystals, here we go. This is apophyllite. This is the center. And the center is a point that concentrates, that collects all that. These are collectors as an antenna. It collects everything and shoots it out the front of the point. Okay. These little things here are what I call concentrators. Okay. And they come from here towards the center. This is just one configuration, and there's many configurations you can do with this many crystals. Now the rest is amethyst and citrine, because she loves those. So
I do.
So I put amethyst and citrine, staggering, 1 amethyst, 1 citrine.
That's so pretty.
Okay, so that's basically the crystal, and it's about 9 to 10 inches. You can make them a little bigger if you want, but this is kind of a small one. I have them bigger than this, like 15 inches or something like that. I mean, you can build them out of just about anything. And the good thing about this is that if you have special stones that you kind of like yourself, you don't have to use these. You can use the combination of stones that you feel at the time that it's what you need. So you can put and build it using different stones.
Okay, so question. So
Yeah.
we have this really pretty grid in front of us. So the question becomes, what do I do with it now? So now I
Well,
have the
set it.
components to make a grid. What's next?
Okay, a grid. It puts out a static field. What I mean by that is it's a field that is static. It doesn't move. It's like a big bubble, half a bubble, and it puts
Okay.
out a field in that shape. It doesn't move. It's just whoop and stays there.
Okay.
It stays that way. Now
Okay.
you can this has no intention set on it, and you can put your hand on top of it, and you can feel the energy coming out. It's heat. I feel it as heat. I can feel it on my face. I feel it on my hand, and that's how I test them, by going like this. Not hot. Yeah, it's getting hot. It's hot. It goes off like this. So you can, on top of that, you can put your intention on. What do you want this to do? Put out a field large enough to cover your house and protect you? You can do that. Or you can just let it do whatever it is. Right now it's pulling in that all-purpose raw energy that's around us and using it to concentrate it into this shape. Now, you can do different shapes, okay? You can do things like this.
This is really starting to make me feel like I should have paid way more attention in math class.
It's no, it's not. So long as you know what it is that you're after,
Hmm.
it's okay. Now see this shape here. What it's doing? What do you think this one does?
I love that. It looks like a starburst to me. So it looks like it sends energy out. Am I even close?
Yes, exactly. This
Yay!
one, the one that I showed did before is it draws the energy in,
Right?
builds a field. It builds a field out to where you can feel it. And this one, without the crystals, this one's putting out a huge field. This one is putting out energy. Now you can also take your little crystals and however you want, and you can set them in whatever shape you want. You see what it means? You see that? That's
Yes.
great. Now, you can go online and you can get different types of people sell like patterns on paper that you can buy, and you can put different crystals on it, and you can play around with that. This is how I do. I don't look at those. You can if you want to. Uh, that's a complex one. To make it a little more interesting, you can do this in a triangle shape, and you can only use this. See that?
So just a question going back to that story about the lovely Jamaican lady. So if you were to then create another triangle with the selenite that's inverted, right? So the 2 points
Yeah.
connect, right? What kind of energy would that create? Do you understand what I'm saying, Paul?
It's raw energy. Remember, it's an antenna. It's pulling down. It's pulling down energy that's all around us. It's
Right?
concentrating it. Now, as near as I can tell, the purpose of that was to get people's exposure to that type of energy, so they could take it into themselves and use it like for healing, to feel better, to maybe they're worried about something.
Yeah,
That's you repurpose it based on
perfect.
based on your intention. And you can do different shapes. You can do square shapes. You see, square shapes. You can do the shapes that your higher self is telling you, hey, I need this shape today. And then you can get the good thing about it is you have enough crystals here to make many shapes.
I'm seeing this is gorgeous. And when, there are a lot of variations that you can create. And certainly for people who have other stones that they really like, they can incorporate those. But it's really sort of magical to watch how that comes together. And you can actually sort of just feel the power and the energy of the force of the grid, just as you're looking at it.
Right,
So
right.
so
This
that
is
and again, as Paul was saying, there are unlimited uses for a grid. It can be for protection, it can be for something very specific. You just, as if you can think it, you can probably create a grid for it. We need to see your face again, Paul.
okay. Here we go. Let's go. Come back.
Hello again. Um,
Right,
you,
so
you can just use it for so much stuff. So that is like really, really exciting. Thank
it's
you for
kind of
that.
it's a kind of things that I did. I started making. I made the first grid that I made was really not a grid itself, was a vortex. A vortex is a swirling of energy, and it goes around and around, 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 and it concentrates that way. It was big enough so you could put a chair in the middle and you could sit. That was the first one I ever built because I wanted to go to Sedona, and I didn't have enough money to go to Sedona, and I started thinking, you know what, Sedona has vortexes that are natural, and I think, why can't I make a vortex? And I started down that path, and I made one. So you can make vortexes that way. You can use crystals to make vortices. And that's another subject
That's
for another time. So you can do that now. And just to cement this on the intention, I came across this guy, this Japanese scientist by the name of Masaru Emoto, and I'm going to put this up here so that you can read it, and you can.
okay, but it reverses on the camera. So it's just confusing.
I had to write it backwards. On my camera, it was backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards on this camera too.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
I'm just hoping maybe, say the name again, and maybe what
Okay,
we'll
I'm
do
going to
is we'll
spell
create
the
a
name.
link for it.
I'm gonna spell it Masaru, Masaru, and the last name is Emoto. You go to YouTube and you type that into the bar where you search and put 432 afterward. Pick the article that says 432. What he did, he basically used intention with water. And he would like put water and maybe seeds in it, and he would say to the water, "I love you," or he would put very simple intentions, or "I hate you," or and then play 432 music to it, and then he would put it away in a room, and then he'd come back, and the one that says "I love you," he would freeze it, and then the crystals would show really beautiful shapes. The one that he said "I hate you," it was like rotted. And the ones that have 432 have beautiful shapes in the crystals themselves. One thing that I want to say is that we are crystals. Water is a crystal itself. It's just not hardened. And we're like 60 to 80% water. So we are a walking crystal ourselves. They're liquid crystals, which is
I
why
love that. I love that.
it's something that people don't realize. We have little crystals inside our brain, in the pineal gland. I think that's how you say it. Pineal is in
Yep.
the middle of the brain. That they're little tiny crystals that they found that people have in there. So we have crystals inside of us. Do we have water, which is crystals? And this is one of the things that you can use when you work with crystals and energy. Marry it all together, and then when you get it all the combinations correctly, you get the greatest benefits. That's why it's crystals on steroids.
Awesome. All right, listen, I want to zip along here, pick up a bit of speed. So one of the things that Paul and I were talking about is as things continue to get sort of really stressful and crazy in the world, it's important to sort of create an environment for yourself that can take you away. Just those periods of time where you sort of turn off, and you want to strengthen what can be strengthened and sort of minimize the stuff that is sort of dragging you down a little bit, that is less high vibrational. So one of the ways that you do that is you can use crystals. And there are certain crystals that are really fabulous for, calm, right? So I know Paul has a list. I'm just going to add a couple of my favorites. Blue lace agate is quite a lovely, because of the color tones, right? It's a lovely crystal for calming. Perfect. It's gorgeous. Now I will share, and of course there's quartz and like that. My personal favorite, and I specifically am wearing all my personal favorite rings today that are my calming rings. So I have, of course, rose quartz, but these two blue ones are Lemuria. Nope, I'm saying that wrong. Lab. Oh my God, I blanked.
That's the one in South
It,
America, right?
it's the island crystal, Lorimar, Lorimar,
Lorimar, yes,
and
Lorimar.
I absolutely love my Lorimar pieces because there really is something just gentle and tranquil about them. Paul, share some of yours, and then we're going to talk about where to put the crystals just on your body to help, kind of the healing practices or intentions that you're setting. Paul, what are some of your
The purpose
favorites?
of this is just kind of like an exercise. People are very stressed right now. There's too much going on in politics, and it's insane. And people are scared. They don't know what's going to happen to them, and things
Yeah.
like that. So Cindy and I were thinking that, gee, how can we help people out, try to calm themselves, and maybe get a benefit by using crystals and maybe even sounds and a little bit of meditations. So basically what you want to do is you want to find a quiet place, and you lay down like on a bed or something, and just breathe a little bit. Concentrate on breathing for a few seconds, and then find your favorite crystal or bring your favorite cat. and have them like lay next to you or something, help you out. And then
Hey,
you
listen, these animals, all the animals in our house have been known to wear crystals at some point or another for different things. We take it very seriously around here. But he was just meowing, so he's going to be quiet now. Go ahead.
My little dog has a Herkimer Dimer on his collar. I put when I got him when he was a little tiny pup, and I put it on him, and he doesn't know what it is, but I know what it is. So
Exactly.
anyways, get your amethyst crystal. This is awesome for calming yourself down, especially on days when you feel like too much is going on. You're being beaten down to a pulp or whatever. So, and then you can get your the favorite crystals, like you say, blue lace agate, rose crystal, clear quartz, but clear quartz you need to program it itself. Black tourmaline, sodalite crystal. Sodalite, I think is this one here. This is
it's lovely.
Clear one. And lepidolite, which is kind of like a mauve kind of. I don't have one. And shungite. And shungite is this one that I show you. This is a carbon. And then, what you want to do is you're laying down, you put the crystal, maybe a bunch of them in your solar plexus and your sacred chakra. The chakra is nothing more than just a vortex of energy that everybody has in their bodies. So the solar plexus is where you have your heart. Let me see if I can show it here. Where you have your heart, it's the next one below between your belly button, and that's the solar plexus. And
otherwise known as your gut.
Your gut, basically.
Yeah, your gut.
When you're stressed and stuff, you feel it there. I'm stressed, I'm scared. You feel it. That's what people get that. And sometimes they get sick to the stomach. And then the sacral is the one just under that. Okay. It's just below the belly
button. Yeah.
Just below that. Those two are the ones where you feel the anxiety and you feel, let me just bring it back. The anxiety and the fear, and that's what people are dealing with. And then what you do is, just you're calm and relaxed, and then you go and you pull out one of your meditations that you have on your channel, which are perfect for this. You can do that. You have plenty. I mean, I'm sure you have some for calming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Go search it out. You may want to tell them something later on, and then you'll put that on it and do this exercise. Or if you don't want to hear anything like that, you want to hear maybe some solfeggio music. Solfeggio music is an ancient kind of music system that is basically known from the Gregorian chants, the Catholic Gregorian chants. And, you can use those kinds of where the A note on a musical instrument used to be 432 hertz cycles per second, and then it was changed later on to 440. And if you look at the Masaru Emoto article, they talk about that, and they have even pictures of what they look like. What's the difference between the two? I just want to play a little bit of some from on YouTube. You can do 741. You may want to write this down. 741 hertz to release worry, depression, and stress. And let me just put a little bit of this on so you can hear it. Hear it? Hear it? It gets different. It goes different. Anyways, it goes into that. The other one that I want to say is that this guy called, he makes music under Liquid Mind, and they call him the King of Slow. And then he's got a similar type of music that you may want to.
We're just hearing static, or that's all I'm hearing for sure. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I thought the microphone would pick it up.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of those links. They're going to be in the description box connected to this video. So I want to wrap this up because we're getting really long on time. But so the bottom line is this. Crystals can be used for a multitude of things in a multitude of ways. Grids are a wonderful way to focus some of that energy. You know, when you are listening to one of my meditations or any other, you know, it's not a bad thing to stick a crystal on your third eye for clarity or insight, or maybe your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra. And you can just use all clear quartz crystals for them. You can use the crystal that resonates color-wise or vibration-wise to the chakra. But the point is they are a fabulous sort of addition to your energy work. And not only are they, of course, used to stabilize your energy and get you healthy and whole, but of course, they can absolutely be used as you're sending energy out or setting intentions out. And I think what we're going to do is there's going to be a follow-up video where we really, really concentrate on the focus of intention, because you need to be so careful about how you set your intentions so that they are sending out exactly the energy that you want. So I think don't be surprised if there's not a Soulprint Insights video that comes out very quickly about the importance of creating the intentions that are the most powerful and that will work the most for you.
Yeah.
So
That's why I wanted to mention Masaru Emoto, because he's a scientist and he actually there is actual physical proof of that this intention stuff works. So it's very important here in water. Water has a frequency of 2.45 gigahertz, and a gigahertz is 1,000 million cycles per second. Water is very high frequency stuff. So I mean, if you can tune into that frequency, you got almost the entire universe. You know, helium is the basic atom, and helium has a frequency also. Everything has a frequency. So when you combine that with crystals, you not only take that frequency, but you expand on it, you amplify it, and then you get the greatest benefit by doing that kind of stuff.
yeah. So we hope you have enjoyed our Crystals on Steroids video. It's always so awesome to have you here, Paul. I really enjoy these videos we put together. And as I said earlier, please, in the comment section, start sending requests in sort of specific things or specific areas you would like addressed when it comes to your own crystal knowledge. I guess that should pretty much wrap that up. Paul, thank you ever so much once again for joining me here at Soulprint Insight. It's always lovely to have you as my special guest. And I look forward to seeing you the next time we put another video together.
All right, it's very. I'm very pleased that I can help you with this.
I'm delighted. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, people. Thank you so much for being here. Share this video if you think that there are people you know who might benefit from it. And until next time, stand in your energy and stand in your light. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hold on. I just got to stop the recording here because this isn't quite as efficient as it normally is. Bye, people. There we go.